Natasha. Today we're going to be talking about reasons why you need to take the trip. Whether it's a summer vacation trip, Disney World, Universal, why it's important to take the trip. Biggest reason is your kids are young and they need to experience memories with you as a family. And when you look back, a lot of times if you ask the kids what they remember, is they'll remember that trip that you took. And you want to have those good core memories to leave behind with your children. Another important reason why you would want to take the trip is because it is cheaper when they're younger to travel. So if you go to Disney World or Universal, kids that are 3 years old or younger do travel or can go to those places for free. And also when it comes to airline travel, when your kids are 2 years and younger, they are free to travel if they are on your lap. So that's something to consider if you're worried about cost, is even though they might not remember it when they're that young, you'll remember it and you'll have the pictures and hopefully video to look back on to remember it as well. That's why we took several trips when our kids were so young. So another thing to consider is if you have more than one kid or multiple kids, the cost of travel is higher, but when you have age ranges from say anywhere from 7 down to 1 year old, or maybe it's a bigger age range than that, the older kids will definitely remember it. I know the younger ones won't, but you have to consider all your children and not just the older ones when it comes to traveling. So you want to make sure that you're traveling at least enough where each kid gets to have some of those core family memories with you. And that's why it's important to take the trip, along with other good reasons to take the trip is because we don't know what is promised, unfortunately, tomorrow. We have lost a couple family members over the last 6 months. Granted, they were older, 90s or older, but we have lost family members that are younger over the last decade or two, and you just never know what's going to happen. So it's better to have those great memories together while you can, and then worry about other things that aren't maybe quite as important. Kids do like to have those special memories with their parents, not just the regular daily activities of maybe going to school and homework. They're not going to remember those things as they get older. Another reason why you'd want to take the trip is because as parents, we only have so much energy and time throughout the day to dedicate to things. And so as I'm getting older, and I'm sure if you're an adult or parent that's getting older, your energy is going to change. As I keep reminding my husband as well, I want to be able to go and walk and explore those parks, because who knows what could happen. I might not have the energy in 5 to 10 years to have the stamina to be at the parks all day and keep up with my children. So going to Disney World or Universal or anywhere that requires a lot of walking, even if you're going, say, to Europe, that does require a lot of walking too, or somewhere along those lines, you got to have the stamina and energy to keep up with your children. And so it's good to take those vacations now while they're young, because as you get older as a parent or an adult, your energy is going to run lower and you won't be able to keep up and do those big, long, fun. Sometimes people go from park open to park closed, and you can't do that as you get older because your body can't handle that much exertion. And I mean, going to a Disney World or Universal, those types of trips, you're doing anywhere a minimum of probably 20,000 steps up to 30,000 steps a day. So you got to make sure you're wearing the right types of shoes, whether it's Europe or even an amusement park, and you've got all the necessary things in place, whether it's water bottles, electrolytes, all the things that you might need to get through the day, including cooling tools like cooling towels, neck fans, and all those types of things. You gotta consider that, of course, for your children as well. But other good reason to take the trip is because you'll at least have those memories, even if your child might not. And it's always important for yourself to have those great memories to leave behind. And hopefully you're creating some type of way to remember those memories, whether it's pictures, videos. Some people still do keep photo albums and want to have a way to look back on those memories. Another good reason to take the trip is because Disney, even though I was talking about the child being 3 or younger, an adult at Disney is when you're 10 or older. And I think the same is true at Universal as well. So the cost to go when they're older, if you want them to remember it, does cost more because adult prices are normally at least $10 or more higher than child prices. So trying to get all those age ranges, say if you have a lot of kids, under that child bracket can be hard if you're trying to wait till they're older because you've got, maybe you've got 5 kids and you've got one that's 9, but one that's 2, you got to consider, the cost of each of those kids, it will increase. Or if you wait till the oldest is 10, well, now you've got another one that's now adult prices and it's going to cost more. Another thing to consider is reasons why you should take the trip, because you just want to get out and see the world, or you want to get out and do something other than just the daily grind. And I don't think that we all want to just keep doing the same thing over and over again, because that gets monotonous and it's not as fun, and you've got to get away and take a break. If you don't, it's going to be harder on yourself and your mind and mentally and emotionally. It might not be hard on the children, but they also need breaks to get away from school too, even if it's just, a short little weekend getaway. That's still a good break for them, because it's hard to even stay in school for that long without getting a break. I know they get weekend breaks or holiday breaks, but sometimes they need that reset too. I know some parents will like to pull their kids out of school for a day just to give them a day to try to reset, but sometimes you need a little bit more than that. So that's something to consider when it comes to taking a trip or a vacation, whether it's even just somewhere locally. It's good to reset the brain and the mind, so then it gives you the energy to keep going and doing the same things that you're doing. Because if you don't do those things once in a while, even if it's just maybe once a year, it's going to be hard to keep going. And it makes it very hard for a lot of people to keep doing the same thing that they're doing without having a good reason to step away. And whatever that is to you, you can decide on that whenever you have some, free brain space or mental capacity to do that. And like I said, you could do something locally. Here where we are, we have an amusement park that's 3 hours away. I think that's south of us. Then we have one that's, I want to say 2 to 3 hours away east of us. And then we've also got things that are more further away, like 7 or 8 hours. And those can all be, little weekend getaways. So just consider the time it takes to get there, if you're willing to, drive or travel on a plane. It's just good to get a reset, however you're able to take that reset. Another reason you might want to travel while you can is cost. You have to consider not just the cost of the child to go to the amusement parks or wherever it is you're going, but every year you wait to take that trip, there's still that cost of inflation. So it might be cheaper to go now while you can versus in 2 or 3 years, that same trip is going to cost more because you put it off, and that inflation is causing that trip to then cost more just because of the cost of inflation. And then, of course, wages don't always keep up with inflation, so that's something to consider as well. If you have any questions or want to give me some other things that you'd like to hear about, just drop it in the comments. Otherwise, feel free to like and subscribe. We're trying to grow our channel this year, and we're hoping that you'll follow along. We'll see you next time.